Greetings dear viewers and welcome back to the review program. In this episode we will touch upon the energy sector of Uzbekistan. The energy sector plays a crucial role in the economic growth and development of any nation. In case of Uzbekistan, a country rich of natural resources, and the energy sector has a key role in its economy. Uzbekistan possesses significant energy resources such as natural gas, oil and coal. According to U.S. Energy Information Administration, Uzbekistan is the third largest natural gas producer in the region after Russia and Turkmenistan. The country's proven natural gas reserves stand at around 1.2 trillion cubic meters, making it an important player in the regional energy market. Uzbekistan's energy sector has experienced remarkable growth over the years. There has been undertaking significant reforms to modernize and diversify its energy sector. In fact, this week President Shavkat Mirziyoyev held a meeting on the measures to efficiently organize the activities of the energy market regulator.
Currently, the country's energy capacity has reached 85 billion kilowatt-hours. Another 20 gigawatts of capacity is planned to be launched in the coming years. It is planned to create 9 gigawatts of generating capacity through $7 billion of private investment. In order to cover the growing needs for dynamically developing economy and population, the volume of electricity production must be increased at least 120 billion kilowatt-hours. It is estimated that investments of $52 billion will be required to commission new capacity and fully modernize the grid. By 2026, it is planned to introduce a free wholesale market which will be formed on the basis of supply and demand for electricity. At the same time, it is necessary to form a regulator framework, create a market infrastructure, digitalize the energy system down to grassroots level, and introduce an intelligent real-time control system that estimates the human factor. In accordance with the decree, the Agency for Development and Regulation of Energy Market was established, which is responsible for functioning of energy regulator. At the presentation, Minister of Energy Mirza Mahmudov reported on timing of implementation of measures provided by decree and planned work in a sphere. The head of state gave specific instructions to responsible persons to develop a concept of electricity supply in the Republic.
Despite the numerous efforts, the challenges still remain. So we need to discuss these issues that need to be addressed. In order to do that, we have invited a special guest, the economist and expert in this field, to go over these issues. Good evening, sir. Thank you for coming to our studio today and dedicating your time for this interview.
Good evening, and thanks for inviting.
My first question to you would be, as an economist, how does the energy sector influence the economy of Uzbekistan? Have you observed a positive or negative shift throughout the recent 5 years?
Energy sector is quite large and quite important sector of the Uzbek economy, and in formulating the GDP of Uzbekistan economy. And for the last 5 years, we can clearly see the positive shifts into the development of the sector. It's related to the modernizing the outdated infrastructure in the sector and creating job opportunities in the sector. And of course, transforming the sector from the old-fashioned, let's say, fossil fuel-based energy producing into the clean and energy-efficient production.
Recently, Shavkat Mirziyoyev held a meeting on the energy resources in Uzbekistan, and as he proposed, by the end of 2024, it is planned to create a unified electricity trading platform, and by 2026 to introduce a free wholesale market. What does it mean by free wholesale market, and how is this going to impact the energy sector of Uzbekistan?
The energy sector and the prices of the energy so far are quite below the market, let's say, market-based prices, and the government is planning to attract foreign investment into the sector. As we see the clear development, let's say, in telecommunications sector in the past 5 to 10 years, there have been a lot of direct investment into the sector, and we can witness that there's a huge development into that sector. So the idea of these reforms and further reforms from the government could be seen to modernize the sector, to attract foreign direct investment into the sector, and by that to make this sector competitive in worldwide.
Recently, the government has risen the tariffs for energy resources, and this has arisen questions among the population because they don't understand the purpose of rising the prices. To my information, I know that we have the cheapest energy resources and it may not be attractive to the global market. So we cannot attract more investments because the foreign investors may think that this is not beneficial sector to invest to. So could you explain to the audience why is it important to implement such measures and where will this system lead to?
Prices in the energy or energy prices, electricity and all other sources are quite cheap in Uzbekistan. We were, let's say, enjoying it for the last decade. It's good from one side because population was paying quite low on the energy, let's say, prices. However, we should understand that majority of the, let's say, cost of producing energy was subsidized by the government. And it is a huge loss, a huge cost for the government. Besides, this sector is getting outdated and the infrastructure, as you know, is quite old and it renews modernization. Because the energy consumption is going to rise and is rising year by year by population, by the production and manufacturing. So to meet these demands, government must invest into the energy sources, producing energy. And one of the ways is to attract foreign investment, not only foreign investment plus the private sector participation in energy production. To make this sector attractive to foreigners or the private businesses, this raising in the tariffs is being implemented now by the government. And in the long run, we should see that this is only will benefit the country and the country's demand for energy sources, and this will create lots of opportunities by creating new infrastructure and creating even the job opportunities for the population. Plus, it will generate enough energy for the demand of the society.
How about the energy consumption? For example, there are different types of households and they consume the energy differently, but the price remains the same. Based on the experience of Europe, for example, I know that you have lived abroad. How does the government manage to have the tariff system so it's beneficial both for the government and the civil society?
Okay, the one experience I had from while I studied in Europe and in the United States, the government creates incentives to population to use energy efficiently. So population tries to use it efficiently in a way to, let's say, to use energy saving infrastructure. Even at home, let's take our household. There are some households that still use the a light bulb system, which is like from outdated, which consumes a lot of energy per, let's say, lightning. Yeah. Also, we can on the other side we can also see that there are so many households that now use energy saving, let's say, bulbs, energy saving home devices, yeah, appliances in the house. Which what's the reason? So people are induced, people are now thinking to save energy, to use it efficiently, because generating energy is not coming at zero cost. It's not just coming by endowment. Yeah, it is a huge sector that requires the generation of this energy. So the way here is government must induce on the ways for people to save energy. And one of the ways is that they're creating tariffs that are up to some usage. There is one tariff, let's say standard tariff, and after some usage, let's say if you prevail 1,000 kilowatts of energy per month, then you're obliged to pay the double tariffs, let's say. That will push people towards thinking, not just wasting energy or using it without any purpose, but to use it efficiently, and not only use, but also try to think about saving it, and try to, let's say, look for the ways to find out how to use it efficiently and to use it in a more environmentally friendly way.
Last year's winter season was tough. We are now on the way to enter again this cold season, and based on the last year's experience, the government, the Special Minister of Energy, is preparing harshly for this season. But do you think that these efforts will be enough to overcome this year's season?
Okay, yeah, it's worth to mention because last year many people, our countrymen have experienced that. So it was due to the maybe so many years of a mild winter, and the sector was not maybe enough to meet the demands of a society. But the thing that happened, I also always take the positives from it. So we learned a lot of things, and you can clearly see that in many neighborhoods, in districts in Tashkent and around the region, Ministry of Energy is doing enough now to at least in a short-term base, at least to renovate the energy distribution units, so that they will not burned out like which happened in the last year's season during animal cold. So, but this is, I would say, the short-term, let's say, actions or activities. In the long run or in the long term, we still need to renovate or to update our whole energy, let's say, sector, outdated infrastructure in the sector. And without doing it, we are still in risk of having the casualties that we had during the animal cold of last winter. So I can even say from my neighborhood where I lived, we actually had changed to a modernized this electricity distribution unit, which is a good sign. So this year we might not have the experience of a previous year.
Do you think this is going to influence the actions of people, civil society?
That's also, yes. It should be both part. I mean, the households, the civil society, as you mentioned, plus the government. And government must also initiate the active participation of a private sector into energy sector, let's say, by making it like regulatory, the rules or the blueprints, let's say, to make this sector more attractive and not just serving or providing electricity, but also planning and actually creating opportunities for economic growth as well.
How do you vision the future of renewable energy in Uzbekistan? Do you think the people and the government are ready to make a shift towards the renewable energy?
Okay, so far Uzbekistan is heavily reliant on fossil fuel energy resources to burn gas, I mean, to generate energy with this. But Uzbekistan has a huge potential in terms of renewable energies, wind energy, solar energy, and hydro water energy. So investment into, I mean, you can see during this year it was a huge let's say, activities were performed, were executed by government in order to implement solar energy. And we can clearly now see in many city buildings, panels, solar panels that are installed on top of a roof, clearly showing the sign of a clean and efficient energy. So this is a first step, and now generating energy, but it's a very few in, let's say, in counts. Yeah, like some huge ministries or government agencies have installed. This must be now, first of all, thought through and must be implemented into the private sector. For that, we need legal framework again. We need to create legal base of how to use this energy and how to the framework of implementing, let's say, greener energy sources in the Republic. Because in some cases we may lack the legal baseline or legal framework to perform some of the let's say, activities, and therefore once we have them, it will be easier for us to achieve. And regarding the potential, as I mentioned, it is huge, and we can achieve a, let's say, the path, green path towards the renewable energy, and to create a society which is efficient and has access to sustainable energy sources.
How do you vision the energy sector of Uzbekistan in the future? Do you think we are capable to reach that global level in the future?
Definitely yes, because as we see, progress has has started. We can witness a lot of activities, a lot of let's say, meetings with the foreign experts were done and is being executed. That will have impact, and by creating now attractiveness of the sector to foreigners, the businesses will now enter to projects in Uzbekistan to the energy sector. As in the case of a telecommunication, you can see when it started, we also had let's say, doubts about how this sector would evolve. But now we are enjoying the benefits, the rewards of the huge investment that came into sector. And besides, energy is the core of economic life, and we can't imagine any sector in Uzbekistan without sustainable and proper, let's say, energy resources. So this sector has a huge potential economically, and once we put it into the correct or the normal path of development, it will yield its results, and we will enjoy sustainable, green, and let's say, long-term energy independence in many aspects.
Thank you so much for this interview. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
It was nice to thank you.
Thank you, dear viewers, for watching this program, and see you in the next episodes.